Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Akiptan's webinar series. This is the final webinar of 2025. We have hosted 15 webinars up to this point, and they are all available on our website in our webinar library. And for those of you who are new to the space, we are Akiptan. We're a Native Community Development Financial Institution. And I'll go through just some quick slides before we jump into our presentation with Justine Kougl, as a producer who is in Montana. Just to do some level setting. As for housekeeping, you all are welcome to use the chat for any questions that you may have. We will leave space at the end so that you can ask any final questions that you might have as well. And then we are recording, so this will be on our website. Okay. So our mission here at Akiptan is to transform native agriculture food economies by delivering creative capital under a patient capital lending model, leading paradigm changes and enhancing producer prosperity across Indian country. We're often asked what Akiptan means, and Akiptan is the Lakota word for working together in a cooperative effort. And this is reflective in our lending philosophy. We do the patient capital lending model, so longer terms, lower interest rates, a lot of technical assistance. And while we're like banks in the sense that we provide lending, you cannot deposit money. So we're a little different in that area. We do provide a lot of technical assistance with each of our loans, and that comes in the form of business and goal planning, succession planning, financial literacy training, and things of that nature to help our producers to be successful in their operations. There are laws that we have to follow, but we are unregulated, and this is what allows us to be flexible and innovative with our lending model. So since inception in 2019, we have so far reached 29 tribal nations. We have deployed 40 million in loan capital across Indian country and have completed 567 loans. So hats off to our loan team for all of the wonderful work that they do with making sure that producers across Indian country have access to the patient capital model that we have here at Akiptan. I'm going to go ahead and go through our products and services. We offer a variety of loan products and services, and they're all designed to increase the agriculture economy in Indian country and follow our mission statement. Our financial and technical assistance products are always evolving to meet the needs of our producers. We see our producers as our partners, and so their success is our success. We're doing this together. We have four different loan products, and one is our youth loan. The second is our general loan. Then we have our operating loan and line of credit, and then our land mortgage and down payment assistance. Eligibility to be approved or to apply for our loan products includes being involved in the native ag field. So it's anything on the food chain from initial production to retail. This can include, but it's not limited to farming, ranching, fishing, timber, and retail. We say, come to us with an idea. We'll help you build your business plan and see where we can go from there. Okay, let's go ahead and briefly go over each four of these. The first one is our youth loan. We firmly believe that investing in our youth is a step in food security and food sovereignty, and we support the future generations so that we can make sure that they are included in all of our activities and they have all the information that they need to be successful from start to finish. This youth loan, we have three different tiers here. Ages 10 to 12 can apply for up to $5,000. Ages 13 to 15 can apply to up to $7,500. And ages 16 to 18 can apply for up to $10,000. This product works well with 4-H show animals. It can be used on any type of native ag business, and it can be paired with an FSA loan. This one has an up to 12-year repayment option, and it is also paired with our financial literacy curriculum, which is on our website, and we'll talk a little bit more about that through the webinar here. Okay. And then our general loan, this was created to fill gaps that producers might have in their operation. Eligibility includes being 18 years of age or older. This one has a 12-year of repayment option, and you can apply for up to 250,000. It can be used for equipment, infrastructure, value-added operations, transportation, livestock, or to refinance any current debt. This one as well is paired with that technical assistance and our financial literacy. As for our operating and line of credit, we realize that producers have short-term needs to fill as well, and we're happy to help fill that gap. We can pair this operating line with a general loan for that full circle servicing. The eligibility is a little similar, minus the repayment terms are up to 12 months. So if you need to purchase things like fencing materials or branding operational things, this is available for our producers as well. Okay, and then we have our land mortgage and down payment assistance. So we know that land is a complicated issue across Indian country, and we're ready to help solve the access to land issues, whether that be around trust land or fee land. Eligibility includes being of that 18 years or older age range. This one has a 30-year of repayment term, and you can apply for up to $250,000. So it can be used for consolidating interest, purchasing a piece of land to operate on, or purchasing the land and building combo. We're very familiar with working in Indian country, and we know the importance of land access or ownership. So we understand that there's the highly fractionated issues that plague Indian country, and we're eager to help folks to consolidate those interests. So those were the four loan products that we have. I'm going to talk a little bit about our repayment styles. This is available on our website. And we have two different unique repayment styles that go hand in hand with that patient capital lending philosophy that I mentioned. I won't deep dive into it. However, I'll do a nice overview of it. Our traditional repayment option, this one is blended repayment from the start. You'll see those longer terms than what you would typically see at a lending institution. It's great for equipment, infrastructure, and people who are already at their maximum capacity. I'm going to go ahead and show just a loan repayment schedule of what that could look like. Showing the term, interest rate. Our interest rates fluctuate depending on the quarter. So they're updated and looked at every quarter. That doesn't mean that they're going to change. However, this is just an example. Okay. And then we have our interest-only repayment option. So this is our most unique, most innovative. You are allowed 5 years of interest-only payments, and then it switches to principal and interest payments. It allows our producers to reinvest those profits back into themselves, and it's designed to help the producer grow their balance sheet. It's great for livestock and people who want to have the large upfront growth capacity. And I'm going to show just another example here briefly. You can see the interest only period here in the 5 years. And then you can see where it switches to principal and interest here. And you can see the difference of what you could be investing back into your operation and growing that balance sheet. Okay, and one of the final things that I'll mention is our loan process. So we start with the discovery and intake. We have an online form that you can create, or you can reach out to one of our loan administrators here, and they will help you through the step one of everything. This is where you get all of your information together, and we have different checklists on the website for that. Then we move to TA and application completion. This is where the loan officer will then be paired with you, and you can go over all the questions that you have and complete that document with some support. If approved, then we move to review and closing. In review and closing, it goes to your loan officer, and then it goes to the executive director, and then we go through any questions that may arise. So that way you're better prepared once it goes to the loan committee. Our loan officers and our ED do a very good job of trying to get those questions before it goes to the committee. so that you can get to an approval process just a little with more ease, I guess I should say. And so if there's questions, they do a really good job at trying to get through that before it goes to there. However, if it gets to the loan committee and it is denied, we don't just stop there and say, oh, denial, and then don't pick it back up. We give a reason of why and how you can improve on your application to eventually get to a yes. And if anything, you do come out with, a business plan of what you want to do with your operation. Okay, so let's say that you did get approved, then we move to aftercare, and that's where our technical assistance comes in. We do quarterly check-ins. So once a quarter, our loan officers will check in with the client, see where they're at, see if they need any support. If there's any resources that come across our desks here, we make sure that our clients have access to those and that they're getting as much support as they can as a partner in their lending process. So that's our loan process here. If you guys have any questions, we're happy to answer those in the chat or after the call here. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Justine Kougl. She is the owner of Kougl Ranch in Montana. And she is also a program officer here with Akiptan. And so we're really happy to have her as part of the team, but also we're very proud of our entire staff here as everybody is kind of boots on the ground in some capacity. Either folks are running their own operations or have had it in the past, or we have family members that have operations. So a lot of our things are created and delivered by folks that are doing it as well, right alongside you guys. So welcome, Justine. Thank you for leading this webinar today, and I'll pass it to you.
Thanks, Don. I appreciate that. We're going to go through, and I'll introduce myself and all of that. I know several of you guys on here, which is great. But one of the things that we are working on the interactive side of Akiptan is, and during our webinars, using a thing called Mentimeter. Now, Don dropped this in the webinar chat, so you can click on it there, or you can use your phone and scan that QR code that's on the screen. And what it's going to do is it's going to pop up and it's going to bring you to a website that is going to allow you to be interactive with us, and we'll do some responses back and forth. And really, it allows us to get to know you and see where our audience is at and what your needs are. And so it's just kind of a fun way to be interactive. So we're going to give that a whirl. If you go to that site, menti.com, you can type in the code below, or like I said, if you're using your phone, you can capture it on the screen using the photo button and click on it, and it'll take you right there. So go ahead, Don, and scroll forward for me. So, like Don said, I am Justine, and you guys, I've met several of you, which is wonderful. Uh, Alongside my job duties at Akiptan of a program officer, my husband and I have our own operation, beef cattle, and so we raise cow-calf pairs and then take them out to the very end of packaged beef. We haul them into a USDA processor, and then we can sell that end package. And so one of the things that we wanted to really do here today is give kind of a producer's perspective on utilizing a Akiptan, and how we can work together as a native CDFI and producers, and really help our producers access the capital that they might need, get the business knowledge that they might want to expand their business or change or diversify. And so that's really what we're here for today. Um, like many of you, I get to wear many different hats. One of the big things Don alluded to is that every single person in our staff touches agriculture. As we look at each one of us, we are truly for the producer, by the producer. And so we really like to make sure people are aware of that. We have innate understanding of agriculture as a whole, from a perspective of working the ground, as well as the capital aspect. So I want you guys to know this is kind of an open forum. If you have questions, feel free to put them out in the chat and we'll go back and forth. At the end, we'll open it up and visit a little bit. So go ahead, Don. So, who we are as an operation, the Kougl Ranch is located on the Crow Reservation. We are a fourth generation ranch family. My husband's family, I should say, is fourth generation. I myself am first generation. I had a lot of learning to do when I came into the ranching world. I grew up riding horses and rodeoing and all of that, but ranch world is a little bit different. So I had a lot of learning to do in those first early years. Our operation is made up of the four of us. It's literally my husband, myself, and then our two kids, Nora and Cody, who are 14 and 13. And so, like most family operations, everything is done in-house and with some neighbors or family friends when we are getting ready to do the bigger events with our cattle. And so, as we progressed through growing and establishing ourselves as our own entity outside of the family operation, we really began to understand the need for diversity in our operations. So we operate now on a three income source. We have our cattle, and then we have our packaged beef business, and we also raise and train horses. So that gives us three different incomes to operate off of. We live in a society where markets dictate what we do, and so it's really for us, we found it super beneficial to be able to either sell the calf right off the cow, or have the ability and the business side of things built up that we can go ahead and take that critter, if it's not worth much at the market, out to a packaged beef where it is going to be worth enough to make ends meet. And so those are things to really think about. And the thing about Akiptan is they provided us the roadmap to diversify. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that here in just a little bit. Go ahead, Don.
Did you want the results from your first Mentimeter? I see them now.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And the question was, what business or future planning tools do you use? Some things mentioned were business plan templates, webinars, and Excel.
Oh. I myself am an Excel gal. Things that are really cool and you might not know, and we'll have a slide on this in just a little bit, guys, but things that we have access to as producers through Akiptan's website are all of those things. Our business plan templates. We have access to this really amazing record keeping book that we use. And I say we collectively because I force it in front of my husband and I make him keep one in the pickup so he writes things down for me. And then I come home and put it in mine so I can actually keep it nice. Um, and so we're going to talk a lot about those type of things. But in the beginning, we were just a, you know, fourth generation ranch family trying to get rolling. Um, we were in South Dakota. My husband is from the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe, and we were operating, we were haying, we were operating beef cattle, we had registered cattle, we were selling bulls. We dipped into some South Devon cattle, which was a unique experience. Very nice creatures. But sometimes you have to branch out a little bit and figure out what's going to work best for you. And so we really decided that we wanted to pick up on our horse part of things. That's where our hearts were. And I think as agriculturalists, we have to make sure that what we're doing is truly fulfilling us. And that's a big part of what we do. And so the equine part of our operation has grown and does supply us with a decent income. Um, we're also first generation in the packaged beef business. We started in 2018, and then when 2020 came around, there was a huge need for packaged beef in our local communities. Grocery stores were bare. There was no ground beef to be found. We had a neighbor who had been selling to JBS, and they were sitting on two pot loads of fat cattle that couldn't go out to the processor and needed something done with them. And so we worked within our own community to get to a butcher, a USDA butcher, that we could butcher and sell those beef and work collectively together to make all of that happen. Basically, to supply our families and our communities with healthy foods. Um, so originally started in Timber Lake, South Dakota. We now live out on the Crow Reservation in Montana. And when we made that move, it was a very difficult decision. We had been operating on tribal leases. There's family dynamics that happened, and it was one of those things where we were in the midst of a drought in 2013. What do we do? How do we handle this? How can we keep our cattle herd together that we've been growing? And we were able to step into purchasing a place out here in Montana. Land was cheaper out here at that point, which is a little wild, but that's where it was at. And so when it came to 2017, we basically purchased the entire operation from the previous generation. So the transition wasn't as a lot of people see it when a parent passes away and then it gets handed down. We literally went through the process of purchasing the ranch. When we did that and moving forward through that, we started finding more and more out about Akiptan. And this is where I'm going to kind of tell our story about how we became involved with the Akiptan and why I'm now working for them and also a producer. And I really want to showcase how we get to have the best of both worlds. One of the biggest things that we are trying to do is build up for that next generation. I want to make sure that my kids grow up in agriculture and have a future in agriculture because this is what feeds our next generations. So this is just kind of me trying to get to know you guys a little bit. Are you guys just getting started? Are you in that 0 to 3 years, 4 to 7, 7 to 10, or you're a lifer? 11 plus. Don dropped that Mentimeter back in the chat. So if you guys want to click on that and put a response in there for us, we can kind of get an idea of where you guys are at. And Don, I'm not sure, and I would tell you guys the truth. This is our first webinar we're using this on. Zach says it's still on the business tools question, Don. Can't hear you, Don.
Yeah, I was talking and I said, let me unmute here for a second. I see that too. Let's see if it will go to the proper one
We're
here.
learning Mentimeter, you guys, so bear with us. You guys are the first time people on it with us. So if nothing else, you can always just drop your answer in the chat as well.
Yeah, let's try the chat. I think that might be the best route right now. Today is technical
Oh,
difficulties day for us on
I think
Akiptan
it's
side.
end of the year technical difficulties. My computer itself has been having its own time. So on this question, guys, this is basically just kind of getting to know you guys and where you're at. Um, I'm now a lifer, I guess. I have been operating with William for 15 plus years. And I don't know for sure. Looking back, I don't know that I ever thought that I would be a lifer in agriculture. I have a business background, and that's very helpful, of course, in agriculture. Lifer, yes. So there's more lifers out there with us. I love that. And I think once you get into agriculture, whether you're born into it or you come into it at a certain age, I think once you're in it to win it because you understand how important it is to our society. And so I think whether you're at 0 years and just dipping a toe in, you're going to find like, whoosh, this is what I want to do and stick with it because that's where we're at. Go ahead, Don, and scroll to the next one for me.
Okay, yep. I'm the Mentimeter is glitchy, so chat
We'll
box
skip,
is
we'll chat
what
box
we're
it.
gonna
No big
use.
deal.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of set up the scene for you guys. Going back in my life, and sometimes I'm like, maybe we should go back in our lives. Maybe we should take a look at these things and the decisions that we made. Do you see my wrinkles? There's a reason they're there. But let's set the scene, you guys. So many of us start out as that young ranch family. You're operating, you're trying to get your feet wet as your own operation in conjunction with maybe a family operation or on your own. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate it. Zach just said he has to hop off, but yes, this is going to be recorded. And so we're all trying to piece together the different puzzle pieces in our business operation. For us, it was really the independence of when we made the move to Montana. And we came out to an entirely new area. We had the background of the ranching education, the ranching knowledge, the business part where William had been a business operator for quite some time. But we were really struggling for a bank to give us an opportunity here in Montana. We were new to the area. We were what was deemed young for ranchers at that time because this was 8 years ago. And it was a tough struggle. Um, we didn't know where to turn or what to do. We wanted to get into yearling operation because that is what the property that we bought was best suited for. We had a lot of pines in the area, and pine needles can cause abortions in cattle in the late term pregnancies. And so it was better suited for a yearling operation. But most banks were like, nope, this is too risky. You can't do that. So in comes Akiptan in 2019. This is where they were incepted. This is where they were born. And we came to them, we found out about Akiptan, and Skaya, the executive director, and Melissa, who was the loan officer at the time, who is now our head of directing, or director of lending. I don't know what her name is, but she's the top guru of our loan team, and she's amazing. And they literally walked us through step by step of their funding process. We finished a completed business plan. We went through all of the projections. They walked us through what this could look like, how they can help us, where the patient capital was, and boom, there we were, able to finally buy the cattle we needed to support our operations growth into the yearling business. Without them, we were stuck between a rock and a hard place because we were being forced by other lenders to have a cow calf operation. And we did do that for a couple years and we lost our butts, to be honest, because we lost a lot of calves due to pine needle abort. And so it was a very trying time. And we all know that markets are up and down and all sorts of things are pretty wild in any agricultural industry. And so when Akiptan said, we see what you're trying to do, and we believe in you, and we believe that you can do this. And they set us up on a positive track with a working capital that can actually work. It was amazing. So then fast forward a few years. We're going through another change in our operation. And Don, you can scroll one more forward for me. We're going through another change in our operation. There were some big decisions that had to be made. There was some external life-changing situations that had happened, and we had to go through and figure out what our next steps were. So we were in a situation that because of high interest rates, because of not great markets, because of external things that were going on in the communities around us, we needed to put our operation up for sale and move into something else. We knew we still wanted to be in agriculture. We knew we didn't want to lose our cow calf operation. We knew all of these things. We had to figure out something that made more financial sense. And so we went and talked to some banks. We're like, all right, we have some working relationships here and there a little bit. We want to know where you guys are at, what you think we can do. We're going to put this operation up for sale. We're going to purchase another one. And we were left with no, a lot of no. And you can take a lot of no's. I know that. You guys all know that. We can take a lot of no's, but there is opportunity. And we have to just reach out to figure it out. We have to keep asking those questions. And when we made the tough decision to sell this amazing piece of property that we had bought 10 years prior and do all of the things, it was a hard decision. And it was what we had to do. And we didn't know where to turn once again. We were getting told no from all of the options that we had available to us, and I was like, no is not the answer. It is not acceptable to have no as the answer for this, for our family, for our next generation of agriculture. And so I reached out to Melissa, knowing full well that at this point in time, Akiptan was a year and a half, 2 years old. They were young, we were all doing things and moving and growing together. And I reached out and I said, this is what we need to do. I'm not sure how, but I would love for you guys to be involved because you guys were so instrumental in helping us find success in the first place. And a few weeks later, Melissa came back after a meeting with Skya and the board, and they were able to assist us in a land down payment. And this is where we were able to use the land down payment program to step into a new operation. And that's where we're at today. And it's about asking those questions. Even if the product isn't quite there or we're not sure, it's about reaching out to us as a CDFI working in agriculture in Indian country, and asking, can this be done? If it can't, okay, let's find a way to make it happen. One of the best things that I have found about CDFIs in Indian country across the way is it's never just no. It's a not yet. It's a let's find a way. And one of the things that is really cool is that Akiptan believed in us as an operator. And our loan team believed in us as an operation. And so I think it's really important to realize that we have all these tools at our disposal, and we have all these tools on the Akiptan website. But if there's something that you need that you're not finding, ask us. We'll do our best to help whatever it is, whether it's keeping records, whether it's finding local people to help with estate planning, whether it is finding a different loan, anything like that. We are here for you. Don, will you scroll forward for me, hon? So, surprise! I came into working for Akiptan. I was never going to go back to having a job, and Akiptan had a program officer position, and I was like, I need to at least put my name in the hat. And so now I get to go from using Akiptan's tools to helping to create them for other producers. This QR code will take you right to our website with all the resources that'll be right at your fingertips. It is such an honor for me to get to be here with you all today to tell my story about how Akiptan's helped and how, as a producer, it keeps helping. The things that we create as resources, the opportunities for education, they're not just stagnant. They're for us to use day in and day out. And I think that's really important for us as producers to remember. And I know we're all looking at, it's the end of the year and we're all scrambling to get tax stuff together in our financials and see where we're at and what we need to be doing. But it's important to realize that going through and doing that throughout the year is really vital to our operations. Go ahead, Don. So we have the Rancher record keeping book, and we have this both online and we have it in hard copy. So if you are interested in a hard copy, please let Don or I know and we can get that mailed out to you. But the Rancher record keeping book is amazing. It has all of the things that you would need in it to keep. Oh, Don just put it in the chat. Thank you. And so you can put all of your planting records, your harvesting records, all of your livestock records, if you're doctoring a sick calf, all of the things that you're going to need to look back at your operation for the year and say, this is what happened. This is how it happened. And these are really great for your loan officers, whether it be with a bank, Akiptan, FSA, because it's easy to explain what happened during the year if you keep track of it monthly. And so, if you do not have our record keeping book, please let us know. We can definitely get one out in the mail to you because they are a great resource. Go ahead, Don. Oh, go ahead.
Thanks. Yep, I was just gonna add like these are sturdy too. So if they get tossed around in the pickup, they're gonna withstand, all of the mud and the tossing around. And it's one thing that we really support here at Akiptan is, keeping good records. We have had webinars on good record keeping and how that is beneficial. To a lot of the previous webinars we had around financials just a couple weeks ago. Um, and there's templates on there. So I know Justine's going to jump more into a lot of the resources that we have here, but it also speaks to Justine and other members of our team actually being in the operations and seeing, okay, this is something I created and this is what was helpful. So this was created with all of you in mind. So I just want to add that one piece.
If it can withstand my pickup, it'll withstand yours because my pickup's a hot mess express most of the time, guys. So I just want to really pitch in that, like, if you guys want a copy of that, all you have to do is let us know and we'll get it out to you. It is for you as a producer. Go ahead, Don. So on the back side of this is really the curriculums. And I know when you hear curriculums, you're like, oh, I finished school. But honestly, as agriculturalists, we've never finished learning because I think the science behind everything that we do is constantly changing and advancing, and we're learning so much. So we have developed these guides for cattle ranchers, for youth entrepreneurs. So if you guys have kiddos who are interested in any type of agricultural operation, we have a book specifically for them, as well as agribusinesses. So if you are doing something that is, taking your product to the next level, or we have a mushroom farm or apple orchard. It doesn't have to be just cattle, right? We have all sorts of different agricultural opportunities out there, but we have curriculums that are for that. And what's really awesome is that we have a series of cohorts that are coming up. They're each 4 weeks long. There's going to be a cattle rancher one, there'll be an agribusiness one, and a gardening one. And they're starting in January. So if you are interested in the cattle rancher one, it starts January 19th. Please let me know. The agribusiness one is starting in February, and the garden one is in March. And so those are all opportunities for further education. And these are all on our website as well. So how do you use these resources to turn into funds? And really, that's the bottom line, right? We all need capital. We need funds to do what we do. We need funds to sustain ourselves, to sustain our operations. The records plus your financial knowledge with a business plan is going to give you stronger funding opportunities, whether you're coming to Akiptan, a different CDFI, a bank, FSA, they're going to want to see these things. And if you can show up and say, here's my stuff, they're going to look at you and say, okay, I'm going to take these folks seriously. They know what they want to do. They mean business. Here is all their records from the past years. Here is their business plan and what they want to do. What is your capital ask? And so within that, it's so very important to know that when we go in for any type of an application for financial means, whether that be a loan funding or a grant funding or a partnership opportunity, you really want to have your materials collected and put together. Don's dropping some stuff in the chat for us here. And I think this is really important because when we talk about going in for funding, you want to be able to give just a brief overview of what your operation is. So when I go into a bank or a Akiptan and ask for funding, I'm Justine Kougl with Mr. Beef. We are a beef cattle operation that takes products out to the end package, where we then sell that out to our communities. And then I would be able to tell them this is where we want to go and this is where we want to grow. And so having that cash flow balance sheet, your growth charts, things like that are really important. And if you do not have those things in order, that's okay. Because guess what? We have templates for you. That's one of the best things that we get to do, I think, with Akiptan is we get to develop these easy to use opportunities. And so all of this information you can find on our website under application materials or guides. There's checklists of important documents that are really handy to keep them in a binder, keep them in a safe, keep them somewhere. So that way, when you get ready to apply for funding with Akiptan, you have everything together. Go ahead, Don. So, using the chat, can you guys tell us what business or future planning tools do you plan on utilizing in your operation today? What are you guys utilizing as far as business adventure type stuff? Do you use do you guys remember the notebooks? I don't know what they were called, but they were a big thick book that we used to get from FSA and you'd handwrite everything in there? We used to use those. I updated to Excel. Some people are using QuickBooks to decide that, uh, and different things of that nature. So I'd like to know what you guys are using to make plans for your operation. Is anybody using a financial advisor? Is your banker helping to guide you, or are you using Akiptan's loan operations and we're helping you through that. And so I think it's really important to know and understand that there are so many opportunities out there. Don says there's a marketing section in the agribusiness curriculum that talks about a lot of this. So that's also good to know.
And I think, another thing is after these calls, a lot of people do request these curriculums and get online and download those Excel sheets online, the cash flow sheet, the balance sheet, the growth chart, things like that. And then Shannon says in the chat, QuickBooks now, but I'm going to switch to Ambrook very soon.
Yeah, I've seen that Ambrook advertised a little bit, but I haven't explored it. So maybe I should do that as well because there's just a lot of different opportunities out there. Google Sheets, yes, Michaela, that's we love us some Google and Excel in my family. They're very easy to use as well. Isel says, I've used Eggplan before and FreshBooks for account reconciliation. I've heard good things about CattleMax as well and Google Sheets. Yes, yes, perfect. Excellent, guys. I would just say any type of the record keeping things that you are doing, keep doing them. It is so very, very important. One of the last things we wanted to touch on is just the diversification of our agricultural businesses. I used to think when we've talked about diversification, when we first started ranching, it was, well, we're in cattle, so we're just in cattle. But really, when we looked at the whole scheme of things, we're also selling hay. We also put up some corn and then we'd sell ear corn. Those are all different income streams that come into your business. And so now we've adjusted a little bit to where we're currently at with Mr. Beef, with the packaged beef. We sell swag. We have a lot of t-shirts and things like that we sell. We do the horse training and breeding. We used to do a lot of agribusiness and camping where people would come out, bring their own horses because the insurance was a lot less expensive if they brought their own horses and ride on our property. We don't do so much of that now just because honestly, we've lost time. There's just not enough time for everything in the day. But putting hay and crops up and finding compatible livestock to run together. So what, we're learning a lot right now about running cattle and then running sheep behind them because the sheep are eating different plants than what the cattle are, and it's beneficial for the land use still. And so bottom line is you have to take care of the land. And anything that you can do for that so-called egg money, all the little stuff that adds up. So one of the things that I will challenge you to do today is to really look at your future plans and set some goals. We talk a lot about SMART goals, and this is something that we talk about within the cohorts a lot, is setting goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. For us as an agricultural operation, we're focused on the continued diversification of income streams. We feel that that's going to be very important for our agricultural operation. One of the things that we're talking about is in our horse breeding is being able to sell 2 to 3 weanlings per year instead of taking them full out for 5 years into a finished horse product. And so it's setting those goals and making sure that they are time bound and realistic. So that way we have something to look at. And you guys are going to laugh at this, but it is important to write these down. It's important to put them on the fridge. It's important to put them on the bathroom mirror. It's important to have them in front of you because every day I think it's a great way to remind ourselves what we're working towards. So that's something to think about. Go ahead, Don. So, what questions do you guys have for me?
Shannon did put a comment in the chat box. She's
Oh,
going to
okay.
email you a podcast that she just listened to that helped her make a decision to switch.
Okay, to the Ambrook. Okay, interesting. Yes, I'd love to listen to that. That would be wonderful. Um, I want you guys to know at Akiptan, we're kind of open books. If you have a question about anything operational wise, agriculture wise, feel free to ask us. Feel free to reach out to your loan officer, to us. If you're not a client specifically, feel free. I'll drop my email in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me. I will help to find answers to any agricultural related questions that we can because it is such an important part of our lives. Go ahead, Don. So there's my contact information for Mr. Beef and myself and my husband William. Um, but my cell phone is there. I'm a text away. I'm a call away. You can find us on Facebook, of course. But you can always find me right here too with a Keepton. Go ahead, Don.
Okay, sorry, I had to take a call. I'm a one-woman show here at the office today. We have a busy team, so if somebody comes to the door, I gotta get it, and if the phone rings, I gotta get it too. So Um, cool. Thanks, Justine. You guys, Justine is my team member, and before Justine joined us here at Akiptan, I was kind of a solo show, so I rely heavily on Justine. We do a lot of work together. I'm very grateful to have her as my teammate. And one thing that she didn't mention is she created our succession planning tools and also a wonderful program that we call UEA. It is something that our producers asked for in our 2022 market study. So we did a 2022 market study, and the unmet need was up to $43 billion for Native American producers across Indian country. And we know it's much larger than that because those that participated were just of two pieces of the industry, and we know it's much larger than that. And so one of the big asks was we need succession planning tools. And so clients here at Akiptan, they get access to what we call the UEA grant, which is the Lakota word for like getting ready for something. And so she's able to administer and lead that succession planning grant program. So on our website, we also have a tool book that helps you to prepare for those things because as Indigenous agriculture folks, we're always staying prepared for things. So hats off to Justine for leading that effort and doing all the wonderful things that she does. And like she said, if you have a question and you can't find the answer, one thing that we are very prideful about and humble about is like we're not only going to try to get a producer to a yes, but we're also going to find the resources and the answers to different questions that folks may have. If we don't know it, guess what? There's somebody in our circle, in our network that does know the answer. And so there's lots of native CDFIs out there doing this work alongside us. And there's like 64 certified native CDFIs, 34 emerging right now. We just came back from a conference that helped with those very key components of what native CDFIs are doing together. So we're proud of that. So thanks again, Justine. This was a great webinar. I'd love to hear from you. And you wear a lot of hats. With that, we have 6 minutes left. I have just a couple slides to go through here. We have just launched our Okichanye Scholarship for high school students that are graduating in the spring of 2026 and pursuing a degree that will support the Native Ag industry. We are encouraging Native American high school students to apply for this. The award amount this year is $2,000. We will be awarding 10 scholarships in that amount. It just opened on Monday. The application closes on the 31st of 2026 at 4 p.m. If folks have questions, they can reach out to me. All of the information is on the website if you scan this code. We are going into our 5th year of this scholarship, 4th or 5th year, sorry. I have 2 different things happening right now, and so get the years confused just a little bit. But yes, please have your students apply for this wonderful opportunity if they're senior in high school this year. Okay, we also have our 2026 webinar lineup on its way. Starting in January, we're going to meet with Mr. Holcomb from the University of Minnesota's Extension Office, and he's going to help you with documents that you need to prepare for taxes. So he always delivers such a great tax webinar for folks, and this is one that you as producers asked for in another webinar. So stay tuned for that. We have the first quarter ready to go. We are getting it up on our website. Anything that we have done in a recording, it's in the library on our website as well, along with that free financial information that I shared in the chat. You can scan this code as well to get to these things. You're welcome to sign up for a newsletter too. This is coming straight to your email inbox. We also mail out these paper copies of our newsletter. You'll get the quickest, real in-time news unless you follow us on all of our socials. We have Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram for that, as well as a YouTube channel for the webinars. So please sign up for this if you would like to. And the last thing here before we share our contact information is your feedback survey. If you guys could complete this, it takes a couple of minutes. We want to know what other things you want us to do webinars on. This is where we get a lot of our feedback. Those that fill it out have opportunity to win some of our Akiptan swag. And we have the coolest swag here at Akiptan. That could be anything from a beanie to an ice scraper to a record keeping book, all the things. So, oh yes, gloves, things like that. So please go ahead and scan this. I will also put the link to it in the chat if you find that easier. We do ask that you complete this within the next 7 days. So if you do that, you might win some of our cool swag and be able to sport it at your next event. All right. And with that said, this is our contact information. Feels like a lot of you know how to get in contact with us, but we're happy to answer any questions that y'all might have or come up with after the webinar here. But thank you so much for joining us today as we visit with Justine. Justine, is there anything that you want to add as we close out here?
I don't think so. I just want everybody to know we're pretty open books. So if you have suggestions, if you have ideas, if you have questions, get a hold of us. We're here for you.
Thank you. All right, guys, have a great rest of the day. Thank you again.